Welcome back to the channel, JC fam. John Cox, Master Cartoonist speaking. And today I want to show you guys something very interesting. Let's go over to my table, shall we? Now I'm sure you guys have seen many times my completed pictures. Some are old, some are new, and you've also probably seen glances of pictures that I'm still working on, like this one. But here's something fascinating I've been wanting to do a video on the topic of. These strips of paper that we're about to talk about today are very interesting. These are called reference sketches. A lot of times when you're a cartoonist and you like to draw different things, sometimes we cartoonists like to sort of doodle on different strips of paper, or even whatever's nearby, like a paper towel or a napkin, something like that. It's a little known fact that the famous Hollywood director Tim Burton, who's also a very talented artist, he would traditionally doodle things on napkins whenever he went to restaurants, and there are many artists who like to doodle on stuff just to get an idea of what something looks like. But there's a difference between a typical cartoonist doodle and a reference sketch. Most of the time when you doodle something, it's something that you thought of, that you created in your mind. But a reference sketch, it's kind of like fan art in a way. Basically, you're recording an image that already exists, that pre-exists in media. And what you would do is you would pause something, like when you watch a movie or TV show, on DVD, or even when you're streaming it, or even when you're watching a YouTube video and you pause the video. What you would do is you would pause on a certain frame if you think it's interesting enough to draw, and then you go by that image, that freeze frame image, and doodle it. And then you have a general idea of what to work off of when you want to actually draw the actual picture, draw the actual sketch and the fan art, and all that stuff. It's sort of the prototype stage, if you will. These are many different reference sketches that I've worked on for the past few months that I'm interested to show you guys. No copyright infringement intended on a lot of these, of course. And I have to be careful when I show you guys some of these, because sometimes reference sketches can involve drawing things that may not be appropriate to show on YouTube, so kind of gotta be careful about that too. But here we have some general sketches, reference sketches that I made. Like there's Columbo. Columbo, that's Thomas the Tank Engine. That's from one of my favorite Thomas stories. Thomas Gets Bumped in Other Stories. There's a girl sitting down. Big Bird from Sesame Street wearing a fake mustache. That's from an actual episode, by the way, that aired in 1996. And that's just a man wearing a hat. This is one of the ones I gotta be careful with. I drew buttocks on one side. I'm keeping my thumb over that because we can't show that on YouTube. But here's Winnie the Pooh. I did some shading on this. And if we flip it over, that's Uncle Deadly from the Muppets. Few more random reference sketches. Here we have Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. That's from one of my favorite Winnie the Pooh episodes, Stripes, where Tigger loses his stripes after a bubble bath. We got several YouTubers I sketched up here. That's Daisy Chain Lizzie, the late Charlie Kirk, who, of course, as many of you probably have already heard, was, he was died, for lack of better words, a few months ago. Hazy ASMR, Ben Shapiro looking like he's about to kill somebody, and Luna Bloom ASMR looking like her typical gay self. Probably just slightly giddier than usual. It took me a while to figure out who this is supposed to be, but this is actually a fictional Muppet character that Cosmo Whispers ASMR created for an ASMR video a while back. I think it had something to do with one of his Void ASMR videos. Speaking of ASMR, we got Emma's MySpace, one of my favorite ASMR artists. There's a killer from Colombo, none other than Gene Barry, aka Dr. Fleming from Prescription Murder, trying to strangle his wife, played by Nina Fox. Somebody wearing a cowboy hat, a bikini girl. There's Colombo again, with the gloves from Suitable for Framing. Elmo on his roller skates from the Sesame Street episode where he tries to roller skate. And these two sketches are, well, I didn't draw her face, but they're supposed to be sketches of a country singer named Donna Fargo. It's lovely. And then, of course, what's very important to remember about many of these reference sketches is that eventually, and ideally, some of them may turn into actual pictures. Like this one, for example. This became the basis for a brand new Colombo fan art picture that I'm currently working on. See the similarities? Of course, I still have to fill in the hair and everything. It's a working process, or progress, whatever. But yeah, that's all we have to say about reference sketches. And I thank you all for watching, as usual.